to move ahead. And as always, Ria talks about real estate, and I'm talking about mindset. And together, her and I will bring more valuable conversation. And today, Ria is going to be taking over the conversation. But before she does, I want to welcome everyone to the show. Welcome to the new people tuning in. And, you know, we truly appreciate your valuable time. So welcome, everyone. My name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is Ria. And well, the episode that I provided to you, the topic was classifying information accordingly. And there were 5 sets of characteristics. So these 5 sets of characteristics, I will be discussing more deeply in today's topic, in today's show. So the 5 sets of characteristics are time, credibility, classification, relative information, and deceptive information. So this is the deep dive on the 5 sets of characteristics. First is time. In war and in business, according to Robert, information can be useful 1 minute and then obsolete the next. So information changes a lot. Second lesson, war is fluid, always moving. So is with business and investing. Third, according to Robert, the enemy troops can be placed today and 100 miles tomorrow. And in business, a business advantage can be priced less today and worth less tomorrow. So again, information is changing. That is time. Second is credibility. This is the second characteristic when we classify information. According to Robert, we had to know the information came from. Where are sources credible and reliable? Unfortunately, in the world of money, most people get their financial information from people they work with or salespeople. Salespeople are people who are struggling for money as well. Now, they may be good, honest people, but they are not credible or reliable source of financial information. The third set of characteristics is classification. In military, Robert learned to sort information into categories. For example, top secret information was only available to those with top secret clearances. In the world of business and investing, top secret or classified information is known as insider information. When the average investor hears the term insider information, one may think of illegal information. And sometimes it is. Now, insider information is illegal when a person receives the information from someone inside a public company and uses that information to buy or to sell that company's shares. Now, in reality, according to Robert, all information is inside information. A more important question is, How far from the inside are we? How far from the inside are we? Why? Because this is the answer. By the time a person hears a hot tip, a hot stock about a company's new product, or news that the company is in trouble, then people on the inside have already traded on that information. The battle has already been won. Those people in the inside, they already won it. Now, for people like you and I who are average investors, we have lost. And why is that? Listen below. Robert wants to make it clear that Robert do not encourage or condone illegal insider trading on information. The distinction Robert wants to make is about the importance of being on the inside and getting close to the information. One of the reasons Robert loved being an entrepreneur and a real estate investor is because Robert is a legal insider. A legal insider who can trade on inside information. Now, since Robert is not a public company, Robert can also freely tell his friends what he knows and how Robert is investing. In the stock market, professionals know that I'm an amateur, I trade on ancient history. So professionals know that amateurs, majority of us, trade on ancient history. And this is how the professionals make their money. They make money from amateurs like you and I. An example is Mr. Average. Mr. Average is an investor who gets up, reads the newspaper over a cup of coffee, notices a new release from his favorite public company. Then he calls his broker or goes online to make this trade. Even though the information may only be a few hours old, Mr. Average, that's again you and I, is already in a losing position. Mr. Average is late to the party, even just for a few hours, because he was never invited. Not only was he never invited, he was not on the inside. He is an outsider. One of the main reasons Rich Dad encouraged Robert to develop his financial intelligence, so Robert could have access to that inside information. The closer we are to the inside information, the richer we become. Now, the fourth set of characteristics, the 4 out of the 5, relative information. Robert says watching battlefield information changed day by day. Robert, as an information officer, were able to interpret past and present information to forecast future information. For example, Robert says if they know that the enemy troops were in one position on Thursday, another position on Wednesday, and another position on Thursday. Remember, information changed every single day, by the minute, by the hour. Then Robert could begin to predict where their enemy troops were going and what their objectives might be. Now, in other words, Robert had to know how the information is related to the other information. In the world of business and investing, the past, the present, and the future information gathering is known as watching the trends. Watching the trends. The fifth set of characteristics for classifying information is deceptive information. In war, the enemy would often try to deceive Robert's team by sending deceptive information, or the war in general. They occasionally did this by using diversionary tactics. For example, these are examples of diversionary tactics. They might move a large number of troops and equipment. When they do that, they make a lot of noise and dust just to distract the Roberts team from their real motives and objectives. Or they allowed Roberts' team to capture one of their troops who provided erroneous information. So these are examples of deceptive information. Another one. Or they use a spy, someone Robert thought was on their side, to provide to Robert with inaccurate information. Now, there are two things that Robert shared in the book about deceptive information. One is the pump and the dump, and second is the sleight of hand. So I'm going to discuss it here. This is part of the deceptive information. It's called the pump and dump. The pump and dump. Business and investing are rampant, meaning there's so much deceptive information. An entrepreneur and investor must be constantly vigilant and on guard against deceptive information. Now, for example, many times a financial expert will tell you to do something, and then what? They do the opposite. This same person may go on television and say he is bullish on the stock and is buying it. Bullish means he thinks that the stock market, the stock price would go up. So he's buying here right now because the price is less, and he thinks that the price of that stock would go up, right? So this person would go on television and say he's bullish on the stock and is recommending to buy it. Now, Robert says this bit of information causes other people to buy the stock. So now this is the general investors. When we hear people talk about, oh, this stock is doing good, So what happens? Now, during the stock prices that they are up, the stock price being up, I mean, this drives the stock price up. And once this price is up, the person who recommended it, the person who was on television, would sell and take a huge profit. And this is why it is called the pump. So you're pumping out information that you're bullish about the stock, and you recommend to the general investors to buy it. And then when the price of that stock goes up, it drives up the stock because a lot of people are buying it. Now, when the price is up, you or the person that recommended it now sells his stock. So that's why it's called the pump and the dump. The pump and the dump, where you sell it. This is the sleight of hand. This is another form of deceptive information. The sleight of hand is a technique named after a magic trick. This is the magician. This is the example of the sleight of hand. So when a magician taps on his top hat, our eyes are drawn to that hat and away from what he's doing with his other hand behind his back. This is the sleight of hand. In business, consumers are often deceived the same way. For example, a box of cereal may boldly say low fat, and a consumer worried about gaining weight thinks this is a good cereal for him or her. However, upon closer inspection of the fine print, we find that the cereal is low in fat and excessively high in sugar. In investing, a mutual fund may advertise highest return of all funds. Now, according to Robert, what the headline fails to state is that none of the other funds made any money, and neither did their fund. So those are the 5 sets of characteristics in classifying the information. I hope you learned something from today's deep dive on those 5 sets of characteristics. So let me know in the comment section below what your one key takeaway is from today's talk.